I'm taking my time on my ride.
7:18. Welcome back to Breakfast Television Vancouver. Going to be a beautiful afternoon on our hands. Well, researchers in BC are trying something new to help manage outbreaks of COVID-19 in the province. They're testing our wastewater to understand where the virus might be coming from. Joining us now is Natalie Prestojecki from the BC Centre for Disease Control. Did I pronounce your last name right?
You did. Thank you.
I did. Okay, awesome. So, Natalie, how does this work?
Well, about 50% of cases with COVID-19 will shed the virus's RNA in their feces. And so, not surprisingly, it also can be found in wastewater. And you can imagine that it's very difficult to test an entire population. So this would be a scenario where you could test the wastewater of a population to see whether or not the virus is there, or look for trends. Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? Can you detect it? Is it gone? And so it can be really a useful way to survey an entire population. Now, there's research elsewhere that supports that sewage can be a good indicator of COVID-19 activity in a community. For example, it's been done in China, the Netherlands, Australia, and more recently in Italy.
Okay, wow. So how long have you been doing this for?
I think we've been doing this for about 6 weeks now, so we're just in the very early stages. And what we're doing right now is we're validating the method. We already had a method to test wastewater for norovirus, something that causes diarrhea, and now we've translated that work into using it for COVID-19.
And how long is the study expected to go on for?
We're planning on doing this through until the end of the year. And right now it's just a pilot with Metro Vancouver, but we're hoping that if it proves to be a useful tool, that it might be expanded out to other communities as well.
Now, we know BC has a pretty low case count. Would this research be more beneficial in other areas where there are more cases of COVID-19?
Well, I think that from the validation perspective, of course, it's easier to validate a method in an area where there is a higher prevalence. But what it's really meant to do is to help us understand when outbreaks are about to occur, to predict that outbreaks are about to occur, and it can be really useful in the next wave, in the second wave. And so I think it has a certain absolute utility here in the province.
Now, have you detected any traces yet? I know you've only been doing this for 6 weeks, but how has it been going so far?
We haven't detected anything in the wastewater facilities we've been testing, and that's not surprising because it's here in the Lower Mainland where we have a very low prevalence. And so what we do is we actually spike the wastewater with pseudovirus so that we can check if our method is working, and also exchange with other municipalities that might have positive cases in other parts of the country.
Now, you mentioned that this has been done in Italy and China. Tell us more about this. Were they successful there with tracing any of the virus?
Yeah, I think the case where it's been the most interesting was a report that came out of Italy last weekend, where they actually were able to find the virus in wastewater that was frozen from late 2019. So well before there were any cases described in Italy, they were able to detect that it was circulating in the population, indicating that the virus may have been spreading a lot longer than we previously had thought.
Okay, Natalie, we are out of time, but thank you so much for joining us this morning. Fascinating stuff, and best of luck with your study.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right. That is Natalie with the BC Centre for Disease Control, looking to track COVID-19 with our wastewater. Coming up after the break on Breakfast Television, Disneyland is delaying